Hello, BookTube. I'm here to give an update, as I said, every 6 days for Clarissa by Samuel Richardson. And it's a honker. I had planned on reading 50 pages a day, so I would get it all done in 30 days. It's 1,500 pages or just over. With the notes and so forth. Or no, actually, there's dates, table of letters. Don't read that. But I haven't been doing too well, and I haven't got near a far along as I should have. If I was doing 50 pages a day, I'd be at page 300. I'd be finished 300 today. But I'm not. I'm very, very near the beginning. And there's a couple of reasons for it, as I say, because I haven't been feeling well. And as you can see, this is very dense text. It's small print. Now, let's compare it to any other book, like any other size book. There is more than twice the words per page in this. So, 50 pages is probably about 110, 115 pages out of a normal book, because there'll be dialogue in pages, so it'll vary, but there's really no dialogue in this. Most lines are full all the way across. Now, I can do that. However, it means that I've got to pull away from my other writing. Now, I'm not prioritizing this in that way. So that means I'm dropping it down to whatever I read. So this is going to take me more than April to read. It'll probably be well into May, if not all of May, and maybe longer. It depends on, like I say, I've only got like about 60 pages done so far, and I should have had 300. So it's going to take me a lot longer. And it depends on how clear my brain is. Sometimes C-spot run I have to ponder over because of the long COVID. So this is very genteel language, long sentences, and I'm enjoying it for that reason. Very, very well crafted sentences. But you do have to sometimes pause and think of what's being said. I can't read it as fast as I can other things, so I'm not even trying to do that. It's not a speeding race here or anything. I'm not making it a chore. It's actually very enjoyable to read these letters. The other thing that's weird well, it's not weird, but, and I'm not sure how to approach this. Maybe others have ideas for this. Richardson will have footnotes, and Clarissa will say something about an incident, and he'll have a footnote and say so-and-so talks about this from sort of his point of view. Well, I take it's from their point of view and more detail in letter, whatever. Now, that's only going to be part of a letter because I have looked. Now, do I skip ahead and try and read that letter, or read that section of, try to find it, read that section of the letter? Or do I leave it until I get to that letter and I will basically forget probably the full details of what Clarissa said about that incident? It's very weird. It's very complex in that way. No, well, that's not complex, but folding back on itself, I guess, is a way of describing it. I like the idea of that, but, I have read first 300 pages a couple times, but I don't really remember anything. I remember the generalities of it, the generalness of it. Those are probably two not even real words, but let's just pass that over. And I'm quite sure now, actually, after reading just a sampling of it, that this is something that I'm going to really enjoy I may not like it's like Johnson said, you don't read it for the story, you read it for the sentiment or something like that, he said. And I think, yeah, the story and the things that are talking um, aren't going to be enthralling for me. I don't expect so. They might be. Um, but I think it's going to be for the language. So it's probably something that I will probably come back to, I'm sure. I'm sure. And maybe reading it slowly like this is a good tact. Because I usually sort of not rush through, but I usually spend a lot of time reading all the way through books like this. So I thought I'd do this differently. Because it's letters, I thought I'd approach it as I would a book of somebody's letters, even though this is fiction. And I found out because we were talking on a live, and it was mentioned. Um, Andrew B mentioned that, oh, am I going to read the whole 3,000 pages? Well, this is probably 3,000 plus pages if it's in a normal size book. However, this is based on the first edition. The first edition of Clarissa. And apparently, he had some critics and some kickback, and they found it the sentiment or the idea is difficult to understand. So in his sort of mind, I think Samuel Richardson added 200 or 300 pages of this size to dumb it down, to make it more clear. I heard somebody say like a sledgehammer. So that's interesting. That's very interesting. Um, but this is a good start. This is a good start. And so it's not abridged. It's just the text of the first edition. I was concerned that it might have been abridged. I don't like reading abridged works, but that there's extra stuff to read. Well, that's fine. I'm willing to do that. I'd sort of spent some time looking around to see if I could find sort of the later editions, like Clarissa 3, the third edition, or whatever it is. I think that he expanded it more. I couldn't find anything. But I did find a really nice folio society of this edition. 2 volumes in a slipcase. Ooh, I really like that. I really do. And I think that will be something that I will purchase. Not that expensive. I will purchase at some point, because if I especially like this, because this is quite unwieldy. Having 2 volumes would be really nice, and probably bigger print would be much, much nicer for another read. So yeah, but anyway, I still got my eyesight. As you hear, my breathing's up the spout, but that has nothing to do with the book. I don't think so. But yeah, so I'm enjoying Clarissa so far, and as I say, I think reading it continuously for and getting through it not quickly, but reading it after hour upon hour, I think I'd find it a little tedious, because the stuff they talk about, it's so far, it's just all, well, it's not the type of thing so much. It's a very soap opera. It's very soap opera, very melodramatic, and I generally don't like that, but I like the way it's written, very much so. And it'll be interesting to see where, how everything sort of came from this. All the other types of things, like even modern day soap operas, I'm sure have come from this, eventually down the road. But anyway, that's my first look in at, and I use that word look in because I got both eyes to look at this point, in at Clarissa. The History of a Young Lady. Well, actually, the full title. Let's do the full title here. I thought there was a page that had the full title of it. Yeah, here it is. Clarissa, or the history of a young lady comprehending the most important concerns of private life, and particularly showing the distress that may attend the misconduct both of parents and children in relation to marriage. That's a title and a half. Thank you, BookTube.